we go. We are back. We're live. It's Thursday. You know how we all love Thursdays around here. Why? Because our good friend Scotty Lopez will be with me on the main show today. But we're here. It's the pre-show live stream, and I've got something really interesting for us to get into today. We have found something very, very mysterious about our DNA. We'll get into that in just a moment. And oh my word, does this open up a can of worms? Or should it be a whole pile of chromosomes? But we can get to that in a moment, right? Because that's not how we roll here. We've got our emoji gallery there. If you want your emoji in the gallery, you don't have to pay me money. I'm not that kind of guy. I ain't here to grift you. No, you just have to come over to Discord. And it's totally free. We can chill out in there. It's really cool because this is like for real hardcore KBSers, and I know there's not that many people quite that insane yet. Myself and maybe a handful of others. We're here for the pre-show stream, then we've got the main Kev Baker show, but then it doesn't stop there, because if you need to chill out and unwind after the heavy philosophical, scientific, and cryptid-full kind of shows that I am... what did I even say there? Cryptid-full? Cryptid-filled shows that I throw your way. Polly spins the wheels. He gets the DJs on. He's wah, 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 all that stuff, and really good fun in there. When I last looked last night, I seen that ZX81, just for an example, folks, the song that he had requested, can't quite remember it. It was sounding a bit like the Blue Oyster Bar in there at the start of last night, I must admit. It steadily got better. But, he had to wait 60 songs. 60 songs so he could hear his song. So I'm not sure if ZX managed to stay up until 10 o'clock this morning. But if he did, then hats off, man. But if you want to be a part of that, head on over to Discord. I'll get you a link as our little stream here progresses. It's nothing serious. It's nothing heavy. It's just a pre-show chill out before I join Scotty Lopez. And we will be talking about the storms. We'll be talking about a whole host of other things. And of course, going toe-to-toe with the big shoes of Clown World. And I will be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. There we go. I'm back. So then, get in the chat room, give people a shout out, and then we'll take a look at the DNA, right? Scientists have been looking at it, and they've turned up some good woo. Oh, it's great woo. But in the chat room today, we have Polly. Big shout out to you, brother. We have got Cheryl, Matt, Saint, Marionette as well. Cheryl, you've got a wrench now. Now, use that wrench wisely, because wrenches can easily be relinquished. And I've seen people get really power kind of happy. Not on this stream, but on other streams out there. And I don't know, the wrench, the power of being in blue in the chat room goes to people's heads sometimes. But I don't expect that with you, Cheryl. I don't. The troops will keep you right. We have got Matt in there. Thank you. Looking good. So are you, Matt. I can see you in my third eye. I know that sounds really creepy, dude. I didn't mean to freak you out. We've got Brian in there, Sam, Lydia, good to see you, Jules, the Wookiee, of course. I think I said Brian, I'll say it again. We've got Louisa, Santos, Sarah, good evening to you as well, Little Glob, Rose, scrolling up, Zoe, that was really lovely. I was on Jimmy's stream the other day. Thank you, big thank you for looking after Jimmy. Absolutely top notch. We've got Greg in there. We've also got, who else? Jose Ramon Francis. Now, I don't know why I burst into some crazy accent when I say that name, but I just do. It's what we do on here. It's going to stay. It's sticking now. Spooky Andy. Sup, dude? What's up? Remember that advert? That was really good, that. Hey. Now, have we got sound? Kevin said he had no sound. Kevin, of course, Nacy, the other Kevin, my brother from another mother. We've also got Marie kicking about in there. Who else? Jules, first in the chat room today. Very well done to you, Jules. So let's get into this. I'm not going to take up too much of your time today. And then don't forget, though, we will be back later on, like an hour from now, with Scotty on the main show. And last night's show with Epic Journeyman, wow, off the charts good. And there was also maybe 10 minutes of conversation after the show. Well, it's all good because I managed to kickstart the old Streamlabs. I got it all recorded on video. I will be putting that show. I don't put many shows up on YouTube anymore at all. But this one I'm definitely going to put out there because I think that might just give us that kind of influx of new viewers that will take us over the 5K mark. We're almost up to 4,800. So we're doing really, really well here. And I can't thank you. I really can't thank you enough for helping to support and grow this new backup channel. It's not new, but it's certainly cool now that we're over here. So, you ready? We're going to get into enough kind of psychobabble from Kev. Maybe some of you like my psychobabble. I don't know. It's not even a word. It is now. So then if we come over here, there's the channel. Remember, you can subscribe to the channel. And I know I should have the memberships on by now. But I promise before the end of the month, there will be a join button up there. And if you want, and it's only if you want, you'll be able to become a member. And members only streams, suggesting topics, maybe a bit of gaming along the way as well for some of you very more illustrious elite kind of tier members out there. But let's get into what I've got today, because we've often talked on the show about our origins. Where do we come from? And in recent times, we've done a really great show with Jess and Jess Niggy. I just assume that everyone knows her because she's Mammoth in the chat room. But she's an archaeologist from down in Australia. And we had Bruce Fenton on. And Bruce Fenton is the author of a book, Out of Australia. Okay. So we talk about where we come from, our DNA, things like that, how we got here, all the good stuff. So when I was going around looking for news the other day, I don't know how I missed this, but just a few weeks ago, there was something really, really significant that happened. And we talk a lot about AI on here, and basically algorithms, okay? Just call it algorithms. And what they've done is, they've gone and they've used an algorithm to look at some of our more ancient DNA. The kind of DNA that comes from the Neanderthals, the kind of DNA that comes from the Denisovans, stuff like that. And instead of it actually answering questions, no, it led to more questions because something mysterious turned up, and it's something very mysterious indeed. Algorithm.
Early membership donation for our Kev Baker.
Oh, thank you, brother. Honestly, you do not know. Honestly, you don't know how handy that comes in. But yeah, this DNA thing, bit of a mystery, and we love a mystery on here. And it opens up so many avenues that we can get into. But let's take a look at what it is that I'm quite excited about, shall we? Well, I'm teasing you a little bit longer. You know, I'm just giving you a look at the picture there, the kind of missing link. Well, the missing link has got even more mysterious. Because it says here, some humans are carrying DNA from an unknown ancient ancestor. Oh, yeah. Indeed.
How dare you?
Well, no point saying how dare you to me. I don't know if I'm carrying it or not. But it says here, and I'm not going to like bore you all with the full kind of article. We'll get the important parts. And it says a new analysis of the genomes of the most famous ancient humans, Neanderthals and Denisovans, has revealed an as yet unidentified ancestor for our species, a branch of our distant family tree without any known label to put on it. Now let's just stop there. immediately there'll be people, especially if you're listening to the kind of stuff that I do, you'll be thinking ancient alien hypothesis is definitely in play here, right? Well, it's on the table, absolutely. A species of maybe just a species we have no kind of trace of, one that just was here, it was indigenous to here, but just disappeared for some reason. We could be talking about some genetic modification. We absolutely could. I know people will say, but Kev, that's ancient times. They couldn't do things like that. Well, whether you're a Christian or not doesn't really matter. But in the Bible, it talks about how Eve was made from like the rib of Adam. Now, I don't know, unless you've got a magic wand, and maybe the big man does, I get it. But I would say that's some super science going on there. And but that's kind of genetic modifications, kind of cloning and creating a species out of nothing. So this is why this is a really, really interesting kind of article. I suppose that you could say this is nothing new. My major surprise comes from the fact that when they employed the AI, instead of it saying, well, this is it here, there isn't actually a missing link, we can trace back through the genes, all good. But no, the AI's come back and said, I don't know what noise it made, but I would probably program it with a So that's what makes this super, super interesting. And if you want me to sprinkle just a little bit more woo onto this for you, I can. And highly just speculatory here. It's just information. I'm not saying this is what's happening. I think it's a good example of something that could happen. Because a lot of talk by me, by guests that have come on, by people in the chat room. A lot of people talking about Project Bluebeam these days. Loads of people. Now, when you actually get into the documents of that, it comes in 4 stages, seemingly. And one of the first stages is an archaeological find that causes people to question what they thought was the known timeline of history, and in particular, maybe religious kind of relics, stuff like that, that really throws a spanner in the works of the organized religions as we know them. I think a find in the DNA could also fit into that scenario. You know, some unknown species coming down here. Now, you got to remember, folks, when they're going to create, or if they're going to create this new religion and things, it's not really aimed at people that have been like, or the older generations. It's more aimed at the younger people. And I think younger people would be very, very open and willing to an idea put out there that really, you know, what is it, Susie? You want on the stream? You coming on? Coming? Oh. Black and white cat. Telling you, she keeps me right. She keeps me on my toes anyway. But you see how this could be used. I'm not saying it is being used, but see how something like this could be used? How they could say, aha, we've seen some intervention here that calls into question religious kind of doctrine. You see how that works? Now, I'm not saying for 1 minute that's how they're going to use it, but it's how I work. I throw things out there. I provide you with nuggets. You can keep that in the back of your mind. You got to try and think. You got to try and game theory these scenarios out. How could it work? How could they play it? I think that's one way. But back to the real world. What we do know from this study. And it says here, the study also finds further evidence of interbreeding between humans and Neanderthals, but places it much earlier than we previously knew, some 200,000 to 300,000 years ago. Now, this interbreeding would therefore add new insight into the increasingly complicated history of our emergence as a species and our migration out of Africa. Now, they call it an increasingly complicated history of our emergence out of Africa. Do you know why? Because the science doesn't fit what they're telling you. And Bruce Fenton, he came on. We done an absolutely brilliant show. I'll probably find that and I'll link it in a moment. But when you take the science and all the studies that have been done out there from geneticists and things like that, it becomes less complicated and makes more sense when you're dealing with a migration of people out of Australia, i.e., the indigenous people of Australia. The oldest place on the planet, if you ask me, certainly where we come from anyway. I'm quite convinced of that. I am. But it says here there's also the possibility that the unknown ancestor is actually Homo erectus, an archaic human ancestor thought to have died out more than 100,000 years ago. But as no H. erectus, I'm struggling not to laugh, DNA has ever been found, we don't know for sure. It sounds like a naughty word in Greek or something. It says, what I find exciting about this work is that it demonstrates what you can learn about deep human history by jointly reconstructing the full evolutionary history of a collective or a collection of sequences of both modern humans and archaic hominins. And that comes from computational biologist Adam Seipel from the Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory in New York. And it goes on to explain how they used this here, a Bayesian algorithm, to dig into the patterns. It's always looking for patterns, you see. And like it says here, it says patterns in the genomes, in this case in DNA from two ancient Neanderthals, one ancient Denisovan, and two modern-day African humans. Now, the model can then match the intermingling of DNA with certain periods of time. And what the algorithm looked for was the recombination events, where two sets of chromosomes are mixed together, which enabled the scientists to go back a long, long way in history of the interbreeding of the species. And as per the genetic markers left behind, there's something quite miraculous and just out of this world about DNA, right? Isn't it? Like the coding of it, how it all works. That strand of DNA can basically tell you everything and create everything that you are. All that information stored. It's nuts. It's nuts. So I think it's nuts. And if you watched that Biohackers, have you watched it yet? Dang. The things that they can tell from your DNA already, quite scary. But it says the algorithm used in the study was a new one, an ARG Weaver-D. That's developed by computational biologists at the Cornell University. And it's an extension of an old kind of equation they had, an old model that they used for this kind of thing. And it says here that this new algorithm that Melissa had developed, ARG Weaver-D, is able to reach back further in time than any other computational method I've seen. It seems especially powerful for detecting ancient integration, and that comes from Seipel again. It says some 15% of these mysterious, super archaic regions of DNA found in the Denisovan genome are still in circulation in humans today, according to the study. And what eventually happened to this missing species remains unseen. Now, do you know what's really quite interesting about that there? This 15%. Keep 15% in mind, okay? I really want you to keep that 15% in mind. Hang on now. Need to bring something up here. Yeah. Okay, I've got that up. That's cool. That's gonna blow people's minds, I think. But anyway, it says, what eventually happened to the species, nobody knows, right? So it goes on to say another finding from the research was that between 3 and 7% of the Neanderthal DNA was influenced by ancient Homo sapiens, emphasizing the amount of interbreeding that was happening, whoa, across the centuries, way before the mass migration of modern human ancestors out of Africa some 50,000 years ago. And we can debate that whole out of Africa and the time period another day, all right? It goes on to say that notably, orthogonal lines of evidence now support the possibility that one or more such early migrations out of Africa. It's fascinating to look at how we can learn more about the events of the past just by applying better algorithms to DNA records. And it's likely that there are plenty more discoveries to come about the sex lives and therefore the genetic history of our ancestors. They're just ancient perverts. That's what these people are studying this. Altogether, given the number of gene flow events now documented among ancient hominins, it may be reasonable to assume that the genetic exchange was likely whenever two groups overlapped in time and space, because they had nothing better to do than to get it on. But anyway, all that aside, right? 15%. Remember that number? I seen somebody mentioning in the chat room earlier on about Rh negative, and our very own Susie from down in Wales. Big shout out to you, Susie. She was reminding me that she's Rh negative today, and that basically what she was saying was Rh negative might actually be the original seed. Okay, now it got me thinking. How many people, well, like out of the world's population, which is at 7.8 billion, roughly. I kind of lost count halfway through, but it looked pretty equal, so I just added it up. But 7.8 billion. Would you be surprised to learn that the percentage of that, which is Rh negative, just happens to be 15%? What? Now, look, I'm not saying that is a marker that you're from that original Denisovan / question mark stock. I can't say that, obviously. But when the two numbers lined up, that was a bit weird. And the whole Rh negative thing, that's huge, deep rabbit hole that myself and Jimmy have dived down once before, maybe a couple of times. Susie, when I had her on, phoning into the show, we got into it as well. Many people in the chat room, just out of interest, how many of the people in the chat room are Rh negative? So let's see. Basic says, I knew you were going to say that. I know. I kind of gave it away, really. I'm not good at that whole build-up thing. That's why we've only got like nearly 5,000 subs. I'm not ever going to be the big YouTuber. I can't do all that. What have we got? How come Lydia's not got her mod anymore? I made her a mod last time. I'll try it again, but we'll see what happens. Don't even know my blood type. Oof. I'm A positive. I know that. I only know because I was in the army. But A positive. That's what I am. We've got Lydia. What else we got in there? Some music on while we're waiting. Biscuit Brush. What a bloody brilliant name. Every time that Lydia and Jimmy go to talk, something happens. Something good, I hope. Sarah, Rh positive. Maybe on the other channel. Oh, that might have been. No. Ah, it might have been. It might have been. Was it the night Bill was on? Possibly then, Lydia. Possibly. Welcome to the Wrench Club. You're with us now. Tessa says, hubby is negative and 3 of my kids are. Wow. And then there's obviously really, Spooky Andy. Yep. You know, it's really weird today. When you look at this. I mean, read this here, right? 15% of the population has Rh negative blood. And the rest are Rh positive. Now, being Rh negative is not a disease. It's just an inherited trait. Are they implying that there's people out there that like demonize Rh negative people? Does that go on? Is that a thing? I mean, I know like I'm probably the last guy to keep up with what's going on out there in Woketopia. But have you guys like ever been? I'm being serious here. I'll go B negative. I know I laugh and I joke, but I mean, is there any occasions when like that's been an issue with people? Lydia, yes. What? I'm not saying what to doubt you, Lydia. Damn. What is that all about? According to the last. Yes. Oh, yummy, yummy. Dracula says Kevin is very yummy. No, it's the opposite. So if you've got that blood, you're lucky. The US takes it at hospitals and then tries to track the people. Now, do we have documents to back that one up, Lydia? I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they don't. But I tell you what, if we could get documents to back that up, there's got, what the heck? Some reason, some of them do. So it is a thing then. Yeah, it definitely can cause that. No, bad juju. What if it's not about... Well, Tessa, I think what some of the argument around the RH negative is that is alien kind of, or it could be either way. You could look at it as being like original, and if it's original, where did it come from then? You know, so it's definitely different. That whole chromosome 8 thing, please go and watch Kevin McCairn. Watch an actual scientist talk you through it, as opposed to Quackman that goes about YouTube doling out his I swear to God, I know more about science than that man. So yeah, wow, I'm gonna have to get Jimmy Jeans back on about the blood again. I definitely am. That's really kind of I want to say interesting, but I don't know why. And if there is this thing that they're tracked, damn, that just makes things even more weird, doesn't it? And especially when you add it into the whole conversation that we had with Epic last night. You know, about people being experimented on, targeted. I mean, is this a marker for something? What's it a marker of? Deep stuff. And I tell you what, if the AI ever the AI ever does find out, the bad news is that they probably won't tell us what it all means. That's the only bad news. But there's another story that's doing the rounds right now, another study that's been done that kind of ties in with this, in a way, because I mentioned Bluebeam before, and the DNA. I mean, I don't think it comes up in the alleged Bluebeam document, because always remember that's like a NASA whistleblower that we really don't know, so it could have been anyone in the world that gave that to a Canadian researcher. And nobody believes what NASA say at the best of times, so I always keep an open mind on it. I definitely think it's feasible, the idea behind it. But something else that could really throw a spanner in the works of organised religion and really maybe be the impetus to form something new, something more scientific, probably something more theosophical, like we were getting into not long ago on the show. Alice Bailey, Blavatsky, all that kind of stuff. Aliens, woo, vril, soul societies. A bit of panspermia could be the impetus, right? If a study was to come out and say that, whoa, look, telling you, there's germs flying about, there's DNA, there's RNA, there's all sorts flying about up in space, and it's very, very feasible that that's how we got here. You see? And they would try and do away with anyone's idea of what God or gods are, and it would go to this new thing, right? So is there a study like that out there? Oh, you better believe it. And the image that goes along with this, I don't know why they picked this one, but that one there, yeah. New study shows how tiny aliens may be traveling the universe and possibly visiting Earth. So panspermia, I'm sure you've all heard about that before. It's like the transfer of genetic material, biological material. Maybe gets ejected on some far-flung planet when an asteroid hits it. Whoosh, hurtles through space for as long as it needs to hurtle through space, and then it comes through the atmosphere. It survives the kind of the harsh heat and the pressures as it comes in through the atmosphere, and smack, wallop, end of the dinosaurs. And then very slowly but surely, this group of amino acids that came from way out of Alpha Centauris now walking about and coming out the primordial soup. Bada bing, bada boom. You get where I'm coming from, right? You see where I'm going with that. And I'm not saying that this would be used, but interesting. It says, I'm not saying that the bacteria you just killed after cleaning your counter for the umpteenth time today with antibacterial wipes is aliens, but, as Giorgio would say, but it's ancient aliens. No. It says, a new study suggests it could be. Not only that, researchers have figured out how entire colonies of tiny aliens or tiny alien beings could survive and even thrive on a 3-year trip from Mars and beyond. In fact, these alien bacteria may have been our ancestors due to a strange new method of panspermia called massa panspermia. I'm not saying we're aliens, but, and it says the origin of life on Earth is the biggest mystery of human beings. Scientists can have totally different points of view on the matter, and some think that life is very rare and happened only once in the universe, while others think that life can happen on every suitable planet. I even think it could be unsuitable planets, because what makes it suitable? Us. We're the ones that dictate what's suitable or not. What would suit life as we know it. But it doesn't need to be life as we know it. You hear me? You know where I'm coming from there. I'm a very big sci-fi guy. I think there's a Federation out there somewhere. I don't think there's blue chickens running it. If panspermia is possible, but it might be, life must exist much more often than we thought. This is where it gets kind of interesting. It says Dr. Akihiko Yamagishi, I actually think I got that right, professor at Tokyo University of Pharmacy and Life Sciences, not only believes panspermia is possible, he spent years trying to prove how it works. Now, he has been the lead investigator of the Tanpopo space mission, which put microorganisms on the outside of the ISS to test whether they could survive. Now, 3, and I got this semi-right when I tried it earlier, Deinococcus species, known for their ability to live in extreme conditions on Earth, and I'm only going to refer to it as Delta from now on, Delta radiodurans, Delta Arius, and Delta Aetherius, were sent into space for varying lengths of time, then brought back for study. The results of the research have recently been published in the Journal of Frontiers in Microbiology and summarised in a press release. So it says after 3 years, the researchers found that all aggregates superior to 0.5 millimetres, so that's half a millimetre, partially survived in space conditions. Now, observations suggest that while the bacteria at the surface of the aggregate died, it created a protective layer for the bacteria beneath, ensuring the survival of the colony. So it's almost like formed a protective crust over some of the biological material underneath. And it says using the survival data at 1, 2, and 3 years of exposure, the researchers estimated that a pellet thicker than half a millimetre would have survived between 15 and 45 years on the ISS, and the design of the experiment allowed the researchers to extrapolate and predict that a colony of 1 millimetre of diameter could potentially survive up to 8 years in outer space conditions. Now, all sounds pretty cool, right? But when we get visited by these interstellar visitors, the likes of Oumuamua, that big cigar-shaped one, or the big kind of torpedo-shaped thing, and we had another one, Borisov. I think it was an amateur astronomer, found it down in Crimea. And when these things come in, they're not going at light speed, right? So you're talking about this is really slow when you're talking about interstellar kind of travel. So even if something got kicked up off a planet in our nearest kind of solar system to us, okay, by the time it got here, going by this, unless it had a gargantuan kind of crust on it, the likelihood of that, it's going to have a full camel or a full horse or something stuck to the side of this rock. That ain't happening, folks. It just ain't happening. The chances of them having a horse or a camel in the first place are pretty ridiculous, but you get where I'm coming from here, right? Now, could ancient civilizations or more advanced civilizations send out pods? If they're crazy scientists, are we crazy scientists down here? Do you think if we had like an ability to like send out genetic material in all directions and then somehow monitor it and get it onto planets and see how it went, you honestly think we wouldn't be doing that? Because I think we would. I think we're just about crazy enough to be doing things like that. So who's to say that other civilizations out there haven't done the same? It does make you think though, doesn't it? So a bit of alien woo, a bit of ancient aliens, a bit of DNA. I tell you what, throwing pretty much a lot in here for 45 minutes, but we're not done yet. I'm going to get a drink of coffee, I'm going to have a quick PPP, and then we will come back. We'll see what you're saying in the chat about all of this. And then we'll get ready for Scotty Lopez coming along. Looking forward to this one. I hope you are too. Don't forget, last night's show will be going up on here. That was an epic show with epic journeyman. And it's not just said for effect. And we had a good conversation afterwards as well, where he was able to squeeze in some of the stuff that he never got to. And yeah, really, really good. Tonight with Scotty, we'll be getting into what's going on with the storms. We'll be getting into some new news from CERN. And it's not just what we talked about last night. And lots more as well. But I'll be back into the chat room in 60 seconds. Don't go anywhere. There we go, there we go. It wasn't even 60 seconds today, see? Really quick, in and out, quick coffee, quick PPP, but how y'all doing out there? Hope you're all good. Glasgow was cray-cray today. Anne went out into town with Kevin, and when they came back, I didn't even know it was them. They were like drowned rats. It was seriously like somebody was tipping water out of a bath. It was crazy heavy rain. I don't even know if it's stopped yet. But I hope it's not quite as bad where you are. And if you happen to be down near Louisiana, that part of Texas where everything's going on, oh, goodness me. Anyone in California as well. Dang. It's everything going on at once, right? Only in 2020. So then, Ronald, big hello to you, brother. Big hello. Did I see Karen in there? Yes. Now I'm going to scroll back up a little bit. See what people have been saying. We've got Here you go. Basic material says, whoa, the tech on that. Imagine a wee particle landing on a planet and unboxing and getting to work and boom, life. You know, we're able to send rovers up to our nearest planet. I get that. You think of all the kind of equipment and everything that it carries with it. Telling you. Dang, dude. It makes you wonder. It does make you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, I'd say science is a universal thing, whether you're, if you're an intelligent species. I'm sure science doesn't matter to you if you're a bacteria or an ant. It does, I don't know. Maybe they're fluent in woology, who knows? But it's the kind of craziness. I mean, when you go ripping holes in the veil with nukes and smashing particles together, does it seem too out there that there might be a chance that's going on? I don't know. You know me, I love to romance over the ideas, anything sci-fi cool like that. I'm totally open to it. I don't know though. I don't know. Naysay says I'd like to know the ratio of RH factor with pinky fingers, with tiny pinky fingers. All right. So is there a thing about the size of fingers with RH negative people as well? Are their fingers wonky? My mum's one. She's one of that crew. I don't know if her fingers are wonky. I've got a bent pinky. Bit bent. See it? Yeah, it's bent the wrong way. I know, maybe that's alien. It's not. I wasn't born that way. It bends the wrong way because I played shinty. Now, everyone out there is going to think, and I can safely say everyone's going to say, what the hell's shinty? Rick Anderson probably knows what shinty is. Rick, that's an old shinty injury, that one. Yeah. Pretty gimpy, right? Gimpy finger. Yeah. Gimped. Totally gimped. So, yeah, that was a sporting injury. I'm telling you. I swear by that. Wasn't born that way. Many people fleeing to Mars ahead of Nibiru coming. Nibiru's always coming, Lewis. Honestly, it's always coming. This time next year, it will still be coming. It's what's happened every year. Honestly, one of these years I'll be wrong though. You're probably going to get the last laugh there, brother. I'm telling you. No one noticed the infinity symbol turns into a traffic cone. Oh, it's awesome, isn't it? Isn't it, Algo? Isn't that great? We had to have the traffic cone now. I thought I'd have it morph in with the Morbius strip, as it is. Yes. I thought only certain older, longer viewers of this stream will really know what I'm tipping the hat to there. New viewers must think, this guy's off his absolute head. He talks about like stuff that's so far out there. He talks about living on a place called Speculation Island. And then he's got this like really high-tech 8K traffic cone wireframe spinning about, looking like it's been analysed by the NSA or GCHQ. I think if you add all that together, you end up with somebody that's pretty nutso. Yeah, pretty nutso. Put it this way, if I ever had to go and see a shrink and they said, do you spend much time online, Kev? I certainly wouldn't be telling them I've got this YouTube channel. Oh, no. Not to say I'm mad, but yes. Oh, Annabelle also has the bent pinky. I'm not alone. Is this coming together of bent pinky people? Are we all going to discover we've got the same injury? How bloody weird would that be? Damn, dude. Can we not just make that up just for a LARP that we've all got broken pinkies and we'll like doctor our pinkies and we can like start a big massive GoFundMe campaign to fix 100 pinkies? 100 pinky theory. We can raise like 200 grand. It's easy, right? I'm only joking, folks. We're not going to start the great Pinky Gate. We're not going to be at the centre of something called Pinky Gate. This channel will never be at the centre of anything called Gate. I promise you. I used that back in the day, when we were starting out, you know, when we were doing big shows and things. But that term has been... press 8 if you love Speculation Island. Will I put up the boat? Will we go and have a look at the boat? Shall we go on a journey? What's up? And I'm ready for kicking me out because I have lost the plot. Well, let's see here now. I need to find it. There's that many folders on here. Is it in here? No, I think it is. I think I found it. There we go. There's Speculation Island. There you go. Really though, you can't have Speculation Island without just a little bit of. Wait for it, folks. You gotta wait for it now. Come on. Here we go. You ready? Oh, advert. Oh, it's gonna keep you waiting. It's gonna keep you waiting as we approach the island. See? You knew it was gonna be the love boat. Come on, I'm as predictable as Friday following Thursday. Look at that island though. Look at it. Do do do. Yeah. See? Oh, I've got 2 tunes on. Hang on, you get off. There we go. Do, do. I don't even know the words. Brilliant. So yeah, there you go, Algo. That was just for you. What the hell am I up to? This was a pretty serious stream up until then, you know. What the heck, man? What did you go and do that for? I'm only joking, Algo. I'm just having a laugh. Let's see, is Scotty Lopez online yet? No, he's not. So I'll start to panic real soon. Let's see what else is happening in the chat room. Let's see who else is in there. Seen a big number there. Was it a big number? No. We got soaked today down near Tintagel walking. Tintagel walking the dogs. Never good. And what else we got in there? First Officer Johnny Whistles. There's actually a Photoshop of Johnny Whistles as a captain, isn't there? I'm pretty sure there is. I don't know why I'm asking you people. If you were to know what, like, how would you know it's in my folders? That'd be really strange. Really strange. Where are we? Pictures. Photoshop Wars. Yeah. Now then, do we have the captain? Don't know if we do. Oh, there's some pictures in here I can't even show people. Oh, don't tell me we got rid of the captain. That's gonna be really disappointing. Which means I'm gonna have to make another one. Oh, awful. Absolutely gutted, folks. There was a good one of Johnny Whistles with he was the captain of a ship. I can't remember what the hell we had done that for. Something tells me it was a Hangar 18 or something. I do have him as a Yoda. Where he is there. Oh, the Whistler. Damn, I miss those days, man. Whistles was good. Really good. But, you know, ill health and all that, not good. No, I can't find it. Oh, that's devastating. So, folks, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and get ready. I'm going to head on over to the main show with Scotty Lopez. Fingers crossed, he'll be online by then. And Storm Vector, as he goes by, when it's this time of year, when it's hurricane season. He calls himself that. That's not me. That's made up some cheeky nickname or something. He knows his stuff when it comes to storms, and I suppose living in near Tornado Alley, he kind of needs to. So he's going to come on and talk about that tonight. Whole host of other things that we can't mention on here, but we can over on tfrlive.com. So please join me for that. Big thank you to everyone out there. Algo, big huge thank you to you for the super chat. I'll be back tomorrow, Freaky Friday tomorrow, but hopefully we'll still have a pre-show stream, same time, same place tomorrow. Oh, hang on, that's still got the Love Boat on. We don't want to go out to the Love Boat, do we? I'm sure people out there probably do, but not today. I'm not in a Love Boat mood. Stop feeling the Love Boat. Imagine, how bad is that? Kev not feeling the Love Boat. Oh, what's wrong? We're out of here, folks. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo.